Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight. Ooh, show me your soul, baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Can't you see it's way past time? How explicit do I have to be? I mean, I spell it out before you get it, baby. Your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine.
Well, all right. Hi, everybody. Happy World Autism Awareness Day. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host today, Dano of, well, I don't know. I can't remember the name of the show. I'm just kidding. Of this show, Weekly Dose of Dano. You do look better in person. I'll say that. I'm kidding. How are you, Dano?
Life is beautiful. I can't complain. I'm just so happy to be here right now and to hear about all of our panelists' experience with living with autism. I'm very excited to be here right now.
Do you know anybody that is on the spectrum that you know of?
Yeah, not anybody in my family specifically, but I do work. I have a coworker. Her daughter was actually born with autism. So
Okay. Well, I'm really excited because I'm going to keep it real. Until I started in this industry, I really didn't know anything about autism. I knew it existed, but you know what the weird part was for me? I'm embarrassed almost to admit this, but I know I'm not the only one because others have admitted it to me. I used to get autism confused with Down syndrome. Right? I can see our panelists in the green room. Anybody in there? Shake your head, yes or no. If people have you seen people do that? And I seeing all kinds of responses. And well, yeah, I did. I thought, I don't know what I thought. I didn't know enough to think anything that was actually close to reality, apparently. So, but that's one of the reasons April 2nd is always such a great day to help take care of those urban myths and those kinds of things, misconceptions. So we have a panel of 5 wonderful, wonderful people. I know each of them personally. Many of them, I think, actually, I'm looking. Yeah, every one of them has been on Bathrobe Moment. So I can say that I know more than just from a bio about each one of these wonderful gentlemen that we have with us today. So, Dano, did you do any research to get ready for today? Outside of putting product on your freshly cut hair from yesterday and sporting your freshly made show garb that you're wearing and polishing up your necklace that we see. Okay, I'm done. Did you?
unfortunately, I did not. I just wanted to go with it with overall experience. I wanted to. I'm not gonna. I don't know what I don't know about autism. So
Well, thank goodness for our viewers that one of us did more than beautify today. Clearly. I'm just saying, well, I'm just saying, some of us have to work harder at it than others. Oh, the Bella Purpose is here. Who knew, right? I'm kidding. Dano is a great, great friend of mine. I want you guys to check him out and get over to Weekly Dose of Dano and put it in your notifications so you don't miss any of the great content on that show. When does your show air?
We air Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, Thursday at 6. Write it down. I'm just so happy for all of you. I'm looking in. We have viewers from all over the place on multiple platforms. If you, by chance, are watching from a platform other than the Bathrobe Moments TV Facebook page, I encourage you to get over to that page if you are interested in being interactive with us today in real time. When you're on some of those far-reaching platforms, oftentimes it'll just identify you with a silhouette profile picture and the name Facebook user. And we want to know who you are, and more importantly, we want to see your face, because today we are here fulfilling the promise again, where 2 or more of us comes together, something wonderful is bound to happen. Today is no exception, especially with the panelists that we have today. So before we get started, let me tell you who we've got. We've got Tom Island. I've been friends with him for several years. He was, when I first started Bathrobe Moments, when no one wanted to come on the show because I walked around and made people dizzy, and they watched my nostril hairs because I was walking up and down my driveway. Tom was a guest then. God love him. Thank you, Tom. And so I believe Tucker was one of those guinea pigs as well back then. Thank you, Tucker. And Tucker and I, Tucker Bearden up next, just to say a little bit about this fella, coached with me for, oh, Lord. Oh, how unprofessional is that? That was because I was waiting for you to call. Anyway, okay, I'm going to release that into the stratosphere. Let me pray. Bow your heads. Lord, let me not keep going off on Dano during this. Please, Jesus, please. Thank you. There you go. I'm kidding. Dano is like a nephew / son to me, so we play around a lot. We want to have fun today, but we want to be serious as well. We want to learn. We want to encourage. And right now, that is a chance for all of us to be a part of something greater than ourselves. This is World Autism Awareness Day. So let's see how far around the globe we can reach, shall we? I want you to right now reach out and invite 5 people. Send it in Messenger. That way they know you're serious. Just go in and just share the broadcast. Do whatever you need to do. Send out a raven, throw up a smoke signal, whatever you need to do. But let's all, including our panelists, see how many people we can get here. Let's do our part to raise awareness in our little corner of the world, shall we? So I told you about Tucker. got a new book. He's going to talk about that, The Plate That Broke the World. And I remember when that was just an idea in his young mind. And here today it is a reality. Tom also has a great book. We've got J.R. Reed, the Purple Chin Man. He's in the house today. J.R. Reed speaks, and I have the pleasure of actually coaching with J.R. right now. And man, I'm going to tell you guys, you're in for a real treat with this guy. He did a presentation last week about autism at my mastermind, Slam the Hammer, a free mastermind. You can find it on Facebook. It has a page, completely free. And JR went ahead and presented last week. And I kid you not, you guys, I couldn't stop talking about it. It was so moving. Not only did I say that it was worthy of a TEDx talk, but we had a VIP in attendance that night. My business coach and dear friend, Dr. Robert Garcia, the publisher of Shift Magazine, and also also known as the Warrior Strategist. He was so impressed with RJ, Lord Jesus, that's my cousin. Quit talking about me. Quit talking about, he talking about me. That's what it is. We got a family thing this weekend. Oh, honey, I forgot to tell you. Remind me to tell you. We're seeing family this weekend. He was so impressed with JR's presentation that he called me like in 5 minutes and said, I want to offer JR some pages in my magazine next month and feature him on the cover, his name and everything on the cover. So we were really pleased with that. So congratulations. And that's just, all of these guys are just phenomenal. We got Jimmy Clare here. Jimmy Clare, also known as that crazy fitness guy. And trust me, he lives up to every syllable of all those words. I'm just kidding. He is the crazy fitness guy, and we love fitness, and he's here. And then last but not least, we have my dear friend, one of the next Impactor top finalists, Christopher D. Casson. He is also, you'll know him. Most of you know him. If not, you need to get to know Christopher. He's a great artist, a wonderful photographer, looks through the world, at the world through a lens that I wish we all could see through. And we're going to learn more about what he's doing. All these guys are doing great things in the world. But before we get started, you ready for these guys, Dano?
I'm bursting with excitement. I really can't wait to hear about all these different stories and these trials and tribulations, and to hear what they had to go through in order to get to where they are today.
Right.
I'm excited to hear it.
I am too. I am as well. You guys, let's not get lazy on the sharing button and getting people in there. This is not a fundraiser. We're not trying to get money from people, but we are trying to fellowship with each other and raise awareness. So being present is free. It really is. So just invest some of your time, some of your spirit, and pour into each other here today. Can we do that? Can I get an amen? I certainly hope so. So what we're going to do next is, I thought it would be a great idea, since it is, in fact, World Autism Awareness Day, is to get a little bit of idea from some of our brothers and sisters from the autistic spectrum, from actually around the world, and then combine what we see there with our friends here on the panel today. So without further ado, let's take a little moment, if we could, and I want to show you something that I hope will help shed some light on why we're here today with all these great people. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Andy.
Billy Jade.
Connor.
Alan Dunn. Jason Jackson.
Kevin Chapman.
Leslie.
Max J. Green.
Purple Ella.
Savan.
Says Francis.
This World Autism Awareness Week, we are working with the National Autistic Society
To change attitudes, build understanding,
And to create a society that works for autistic people.
99% of people have said that they have heard of autism.
But do they know what being autistic really means?
Even though understanding of autism has grown,
millions of people still think silly, damaging, and totally wrong things about people like us.
About 6 million people seem to think that autism is a curable condition or a mental illness.
It's not either of these things.
And 6.6 million people seem to think you can grow out of autism.
No, you can't.
Autism is a lifelong developmental disability that affects how people understand everything around them and interact with others.
And both adults and children can be autistic.
So, since so many people still don't know what autism is, we asked autistic people and their families what it is they want people to know about autism, and they told us these 5 things. Autistic people often...
1. Feel anxiety about change and unexpected events. This one definitely affects me. Simple, small things in life, like the shower not working in the morning, can really throw off my entire day.
Number 2, Be under or oversensitive to sound, smell, light, taste, and touch. This is called sensory sensitivity.
3. Need time to process information like questions or instructions.
4. Face high levels of anxiety in social situations.
5. Cael trafferth cyfathrebu a rhyngweithio ag eraill.
You can find out more about the 5 things at autism.org.uk/WAAW.
We know that the public want to help, but they aren't always sure what they can do.
The National Autistic Society,
with the help of thousands of autistic people and their families,
have created some handy tips for the public to follow.
Everyone loves a good tip, right?
Understanding what may be a minor inconvenience to you can be distressing to an autistic person.
Give as much notice as possible about any changes or unexpected events occurring.
Remember that quiet areas can be an escape for autistic people from the hubbub or liveliness of a party, office, shop, or other public space. Make sure there is somewhere to retreat to for your autistic guests, colleagues, friends, or family.
Clear communication is good for everybody, so take the time to explain things clearly
and give people time to process and respond.
When organising a social event, give plenty of notice and as much information of what to expect as possible.
Understand that everyone communicates in their own way and at their own pace. If you ask someone a question, give them lots of time to reply. Try and count to 10 in your head rather than asking them the same question again.
Do not rely on body language or facial expressions, as some autistic people can struggle with this.
There are more tips available at www.autism.org.uk for you to read and share.
Strange.
Antisocial.
Rude.
Droop.
These are all the ways which autistic people have been described, and these insults have increased.
So what can we do?
We know that seeing autistic people like Chris Packham and Greta Thunberg and characters in EastEnders and Hollyoaks has helped change the public perception of autism.
But it doesn't stop there.
Autism affects everyone differently, and it's important that all autistic experiences, including those with higher support needs, are included.
The National Autistic Society knows the power of telling autistic people stories.
And last year, launched Stories from the Spectrum to tell even more.
You can read them all at autism.org.uk/stories.
Oeddech chi'n gwybod bod y rhan fwyaf o bobl yn gwybod am rywun autistic?
Yes, over half of all people in the UK have a connection to someone autistic.
Whether that's a family member, friend, colleague, or someone else.
This means that there are more people than ever who need to understand how they can help.
Thank you for watching.
If you need support, visit autism.org.uk.
Please like, share and comment on this video so that we can make sure as many people as possible understand what they can do to be more helpful to autistic people.
Have a great World Autism Awareness Week.
Well, all right. I learned a boatload. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I actually took some notes about some popular things or misconceptions that I always thought of that got cleared up in that video.
Just there. And that's just the beginning. We have a lot more. We're going to have fun. We're going to dive deep. We're going to hear some personal stories. But first, I guess if any of that's going to happen, we have to get our panelists in. So get ready. Do it like we do every morning on Bathrobe Moments. Get your heart into it. Throw it into the screen. Throw it into the atmosphere. Welcome every one of these panelists with all the love you can. Here they come. All 5 of our experts. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody?
Wonderful.
Oh, wonderful. How you doing, man? Thank you for having me.
Every day's a good day.
And Tucker, where'd you hit your horse? Is he out front?
Horse? Oh, no, man. I left him at the farm today. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Wait,
Hi,
which
everybody.
one?
What?
I said, which one?
I know, right. Tucker, I love Tucker's accent. Even though he doesn't think he has one. I'm just so thrilled and honored to have every one of you here. As you heard me say when you're in the green room, I have the pleasure, the honor of knowing all of you in some form or another. And you were just friends and great impactors and supporters of myself and our friends and our Misfit Nation brothers and sisters and all of that. And you just happen to be autistic. So I am glad that you all, I want to thank you in advance on behalf of the viewers present and those who are still to watch on the replay. And all of us here today, I speak for E360 Television as well, and for my family and for my husband and for myself. And I'm sure I speak for Dano as well, that we are really honored that you would make yourself vulnerable, allow us to see inside your soul and for you to pour into ours. So thank you so much for that. Let's get that out of the way. So I just wanted to take this time now. Danny, did you want to say hello to the panel?
Yeah, hello everybody. I know I've seen some version of the story about what you guys go through on just social media in general, but just the stuff that everybody's doing. From Christopher to Thomas to JR to Jimmy to Tucker, everybody's doing very big things, and you're really changing the stigma of what it really means to have autism. Just because a common misconception again is that that you guys can't really do everything that a normal person can do. And let me not say normal, just a person living without autism can do. So just really inspirational stuff. And I'm just so happy to be here with you guys, just to hear about all of the great things that you guys are doing.
Yes, and I want to just say something there. I'm moving around checking stuff out, you guys. So Christopher, when I bring you in, unmute yourself because I can't do it. Same thing with you, JR. How many of you, raised by a show of hands, how many of you have cringed many times when you heard somebody make that slip that Dano just made about normal? Anybody? So all of you have experienced that. So that was, what a great way to start. And because that was a very organic thing that happened, and it is a part of your real life. So let's talk about that, if we could, for our first thing to address the panel with. But first, as you introduce yourself, take a moment to tell people where you are in the world, what you do for a living, and what your superpower is, because a lot of you refer to autism as a gift or superpower. So we'd like to get that out there so people can watch for it. So we're going to start, and then also give us a moment of when that word, when you know what that does to you when you hear, oh, I want to be normal. Okay, that sort of thing. And then we'll make our rounds and we'll get started with some questions. Christopher Casson, why don't you begin? Welcome.
Okay, hi, I'm Christopher D. Casson. I am a photographer, artist, and a podcaster from the Chicagoland area. And I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome at around the age of 5 or 6. And, I struggled a lot growing up, but, eventually I got to a point where I decided, stop waiting for everyone to help me when I could just use my own power to help myself. So I guess part of me is just persistence and just being able to express and, share my view of the world through art that maybe other people don't see as much, through photography of what they're missing every time they go to work and so lost in their heads that they don't notice all the beauty that's always been around us, that we just need to take the time to notice, and just that we are just more than the labels that are just placed upon us, that we're not limited by them, that it's, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. And Christopher, what does it do? How does it resonate through your spirit when you hear that thing about normal?
What's normal? Because I've never experienced what exactly this normal is throughout my whole life, so it's kind of hard for me to identify with it.
That's a great way of putting it. Thank you, Christopher. Let's go down to Tom Island. Hi, Tom. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you and Dano so much for having me today. I'm Tom Island. I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I was a certified public accountant, but I left that career behind in order to become a certified human potential coach and a Toastmasters International accredited speaker. There are only 88 of them in the world. These are people that have mastered the art of public speaking and apply it to their particular trade or line of work. And I love being a consultant and a speaker and not doing accounting anymore. And I wrote a book, and it's the basis for my company, Come to Life, your guide to self-discovery, and my company is called Come to Life Coaching, because I help people on a personal level know themselves, love themselves, be themselves, and also allow them to see that life doesn't come to you. It's up to you to come to life rather than sit back and wait for something to happen to you. So I go out and make things happen for myself. And I see that a little bit of my superpower is, in addition to being patient, I'm also persistent. And I go after what I want in life. And I too am a little bit awkward about that word normal, because what is that term anyway, and who defines it? And everyone has their definition of words. And why attempt to fit in when you were born to stand out? That's my philosophy, and why I want to be more than.
Thank you, Tom. Tom, where in the world are you again? Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. And well, I'll come back to that. We're gonna get back to that. Thank you for that. I know what I was trying to think of. I didn't want to forget it. Did anybody notice the look on Tucker's face when Tom held his book up? I could read him like a book.
Do it again.
He went, "Damn, I wish I had a copy of my book here to hold up." Mm-hmm. See, I know you. Did that not happen?
How'd you know that's what I was thinking?
Because I know you. That's why. So I was like, he look at him like, damn it. So anyway, okay. Thank you so much for that, Tom. Let's jump over to Tom's right, my left, and meet Jimmy Clare. Hi, Jimmy. Where are you? And what brings you here today?
I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm also the founder of crazyfitnessguy.com, and I help motivate people to start living a healthy living lifestyle.
Okay, great. I love it. And what about that normal word? How's that resonate with you?
When I hear the word normal, I kind of want to ask people for their definition of normal, because I don't think normal exists anywhere in the world, and normal is not in my dictionary either.
There you go. Normal with people is almost like perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, or it's like or it's like the stormtroopers in Star Wars. Everybody's normal and everybody's wearing the same outfit and wearing the same hat.
All one. Good point. Thank you, Jimmy. Tucker, how about you?
Howdy, everybody. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me here. My name's Tucker Bearden. I'm a certified Ziglar legacy. If y'all don't know who that is, Zig Ziglar was one of the greatest keynote speakers that ever lived. One of the founders of the motivational industry. And I've had the honor of becoming a legacy and training with the Ziglars. I'm a keynote speaker, and I'm also an Aspie. I have the same form of autism as Christopher, Asperger's. Now, we both know, everybody knows they've been trying to take Asperger's off of the name away from everybody, but those of us who are Aspies are quite proud of it, and it ain't going nowhere. So what I do for a living professionally is I have the honor of getting to hire and train people to sell Kirby home maintenance systems, which is something that we'll talk about here later, because the fact that I'm able to put people with autism into the workforce means a lot to me, because that's a big problem in today's time. So thank you so much for having me here. And when it comes to normal, honestly, I'm with Jimmy. I'll quit being weird when you can tell me what normal means. I mean, the definition of normality is a behavior that can be normal for an individual when it is consistent with the most common behavior for that person. Meaning, normal is defined individually, and there is no platform for normality. So we can go ahead and throw that out the door, because it doesn't exist. It doesn't even exist in the dictionary.
Oh, what does it?
The word the normality, there is no definition of what is considered normal. Normality, what I just said to you, is the literal textbook definition of normal. It is processed individually based on the actions of an individual person. It has nothing to do with the masses. So when people say, why don't you act normal? I am acting normal. I'm me, and that's normal.
That's a great point. And you see, listen, y'all, if I could have gotten the licensing rights for some of that Oscar or Grammy wrap-up music, I would have had it here, but I'm using the bell instead. So don't think I'm just trigger happy on the bell. That's how we keep everything flowing in here. And I knew I was gonna have to put the bell on Tucker. So, but I'm kidding. See, I love Tucker's like a son. He's like a nephew. I'm always picking. Same thing with Dano, and I tried that with Christopher, but he cried, so I couldn't do it with him. He's so sensitive. Jimmy too. Jimmy will cry on you in a minute. I'm kidding. Now JR, he'll just whoop your ass. That's all there is to it. Speaking of JR Reed, loving the hat. You know me and my hats, JR, and you're looking spiffy and this purple chin and all that. Say hello to everyone and tell us where you're at in the world and what brings you here today.
Well, hi, everybody. Thank you very much for coming and supporting autism awareness. And I hope that you'll come away with this with something from all of us that you can use in your daily life and to share with people. I'm coming at you from a log cabin in the Missouri Ozarks. I spent most of my life out Tom's way, growing up in Los Angeles, Long Beach, Orange County. And I moved out here 4 years ago, quite simply to get rid of the sensory overload that is Southern California. Being surrounded by 3 lakes and out in the middle of nowhere just has done wonders for me. As far as normal, again, I grew up with Tom. There is no normal. Southern California, there is no normal. Where I live now in a town of 4,000 people, I've got this, and I've got the word Asperger's tattooed across my forearm. I am not considered normal.
Wow.
And nor do I want to be.
Right. So welcome to you, JR, and the rest of the panel. And
by the way, I'm honored to be here with every one of you.
Oh, well, how nice. Thank you.
Feelings mutual.
Thank you. So listen, we're going to do a purpose break right now, which is not a commercial break. It is an opportunity that needs to happen for everyone right now. I'm going to do it. I want everybody to get your devices right now, if you could. And we're going to see what we can do as a collective right now to bring in 5 people each. Just do what you got to do. I'm going to hit the share button on my phone. And I like to send it into Messenger, probably because it's the only thing I know how to do, but it seems to work. Because we are coming here like-mindedness, we're coming here to really get the word out to people. And so let's see if we can get some folks over here to support and to listen and to grow. So there's 3. That's all of you guys out there too. Hi, Sarah Anderson, Jeanette Ramos. Thank you, everybody. Hit the shares. Michelle North, thank you. How are you? Miss your face. Virginia Hodges, you know everybody on the earth. So can you get 5 people and the rest of you as well? Let's just see how many people we can get over here and see and experience what happens when we raise the frequency as a collective, shall we? And while we're doing that, I just want to get some things out of the way. I took the liberty of getting the top 3 questions that they say are most frequently asked regarding autism. So here they are. The first one is, well, what is autism? And the answer, according to this, is autism is a severe and complex developmental disability. Now, I know some of our panelists are going to have something to say about that word, disability. So mark that one down, panelists, if you want to address that. It occurs due to neurological disorder that affects the functioning of the brain. The typical symptoms of autism may be seen by the time a child is 24 to 30 months. Autism is more commonly found in boys. I read today, too, on my research trail that it's more difficult, and I didn't know this, to diagnose a female. And maybe someone on the panel can speak to that, why that is. And so I think that's very interesting. Next question was, number 2, what are the features of autism? Well, children with autism generally show the following features. Insistence on sameness, resistance to change. They prefer to be alone. Tantrums, inability to communicate needs appropriately. Spinning, rocking, or other self-stimulatory behavior. Aggression, which can include biting, hair pulling, grabbing, hitting, kicking, etc. Self-abusive behaviors, which can include head banging, eye poking, scratching oneself, or slapping. Lack of safety skills and the perception of danger. oversensitivity or undersensitivity to pain, and little or no eye contact. So finally, the number 3 question commonly asked is, how is autism diagnosed? Though there are no medical tests to accurately diagnose autism, there are some prescribed criteria that are used internationally to identify autism. These criteria consist of certain behaviors that are typically seen in children with autism. Presence or absence of these behaviors, in addition to family history, may help in diagnosing autism. So there's that. So now we have all of that out of the way, and we are going to, and you guys out there in TV land, please, we want to hear from you. We want your questions addressed. And first thing I want to do today is talk about receiving an autism diagnosis, because that's where it begins for not just the person receiving it, but all of the people in their immediate front row seats of their lives. So I'd like to go, and we're going to start with JR. Take 2 minutes each, if you could, or less, to tell us about what it was like when you received your diagnosis, and at what stage of your journey, what season, what age, did it happen for you? And then we'll come back to the next layer of that process after we hear that part from each of the panelists. We'll start with you, JR.
I was 46 when I got diagnosed, and I was 31 and well out of high school, well out of college age before they started diagnosing autism in kids. And I'm sure Tom's got probably a similar story, with us both being the 2 older guys here on the group. But it was awesome for me. I finally had answers to why I did the things that I thought were strange or quirky or weird, but I did. And in fact, the words I remember going through my head as I walked out of my psychologist's office with the diagnosis was, I'm not weird, just autistic.
Wow.
Now, as I get older, I find I am weird in a non-autistic way also. So
okay, good, because I was going to say, I know I am. So, and as far as I know, I'm not on the spectrum, but that's still out.
And I do want to say one thing: we don't have tantrums; we have meltdowns. There is a huge difference, which we can talk about later.
Okay, great. So somebody write that down. That's something to talk about. I think I'll be the one to write it down. Tantrums versus meltdowns. Okay. How about Tom?
Yes. So I'll tell you the story about how I got my diagnosis. I was born in Illinois, and my aunt, that's my mother's sister, was the autism specialist for the state of Illinois. And at about 4 years old, my aunt thought I might be on the spectrum and wanted to take me for a screening. My mother's firstborn, wasn't having any part of it, but my aunt managed to disguise the screening as a play date and took me to an office where I played games, solved puzzles. And I'm thinking, all right, this is a fun day. I'm having some time with my aunt. And little did I know that I was being screened for autism. And it wasn't until many years later that my mother was faced with the dilemma of having to accept my diagnosis too. And basically the way it went down was my younger brother and sister were getting calls from their friends looking to hang out after school or on the weekends. And I asked my mom, why doesn't the phone ever ring for me? And she had to think on her toes really quickly. Rather than say, you don't have any friends or you don't know how to make friends, she explained to me, you're still learning how to make friends. And she had to sit me down with my father and explain that I have autism. And I'm like, well, I don't want to have autism. I want to be like everybody else. So I stormed off to my room and closed the door. I must have cried into a pillow for a good hour until I thought about a hero that I looked up to, which is Batman, and how he would face his fears. He would use his mind to overcome obstacles and face that darkness. So I emerged from my room and sat down with my parents and said, oh, okay, Mom, what's this autism thing? And she went on to explain it to me and also assured me that she and my father accept my diagnosis, because I could not accept my diagnosis until I knew my parents had.
That's a good point. Great. Thank you for that. Hey, Jimmy Clare. I declare it's Jimmy Clare. I can't help it. When he was on my show, I did it like 40 times. Sorry. So, hi, Jimmy.
That's an understatement.
I know. It was probably more like 50. But listen, Jimmy, same question.
So I basically got a rude awakening by a doctor. It wasn't really told to my face. I was in the room, if I remember correctly, and basically the doctor was just telling my parents that I was autistic while I was in the room with them, and they were just talking like I was not there.
So
And I'm like,
talking
thanks.
around you instead
Yeah,
of including you.
yeah. And I was like, I appreciate it, Doc. Totally amazing. I wish I had a better story like Tom, but
And
they
how
can all
old
be.
were you? Did you say 4?
I don't know how old I was. I think maybe like 3, maybe 4. I don't.
Okay, we'll go with those figures. 3, maybe 4. Okay, great. Tucker.
Yes, sir. So I have a similar story to Jimmy's. I was diagnosed at 8 years old, and I remember the day that I was diagnosed, but the psychiatrist or whatever you call them was in the room with my aunt without me, and because I know with me it was a relief, but the actual relief it was a relief for my family more than anything, but the relief for me didn't come till middle school when I actually had to do a report on forms of autism, and I just so happened to be picked for Asperger's. Like I literally picked it out of a hat. Out of 30 kids, I picked Asperger's, and then I went to look it up and to do my paper on it. And I kept going to my teacher, and I was like, my aunt said, I have this diagnosis. And I was like, I don't do this, and this. And she was like, yes, you do. Good Lord, God have mercy. Yes, you do. And I was just going down the line, like having my mind blown. And then it clicked with me. Is like that is why I was so much different than everybody. And it took, I ain't gonna lie to you, it was a living hell, but at least there was a reason for it. I mean, like making friends with me, I mean, Lauren, you know me better than anybody here. Making friends for me was a nightmare. And we can talk more about that later whenever we got more time.
I wouldn't say that. I totally disagree with that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm running a timer. I'm not going over.
No, I'm talking about when you said, Lauren, you know, no. It wasn't difficult. It was just different. It's just different. But I want to ask you something before you wrap that up. I want to ask you something. When you received your diagnosis and you pointed those things out, when you were reading those descriptions and you said that wasn't me, and she said yes, it was. What did you see those things as? Not the word that they described, or the behavior. What did you see it as? Give us one example where they said, you know, tantrums. You said meltdown. If that's, give us one.
It wasn't even the tantrums and stuff, man. It was like I felt like it was going against everything that I was as a person, because when you look up Asperger's, like anybody that's watching can relate with this. It's quick and easy. If you've seen the movie or the show, The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon is supposed to be an Aspie at our worst, like on our worst day. That is what, and it was like it kept saying that we insult people and we don't mean to. And I was like, I don't do that. I'm a good person. And she was like, yes, you do. You told a girl the other day she was fat because she eats too much McDonald's when she asked you if she looked fat in something. I was like, I ain't being insulting. I was telling her the truth. Like, yeah, I mean, and I get it now.
So
I get it now. Back then,
social cues. I refer to that. Right.
Yeah, and then when you go to try and make friends with people, and you can't, it's almost like they want you to lie to them. And then when people are sarcastic, sarcasm is lying, whether you like it or not. It's lying.
And in the video, we saw some of those people in there kind of referred to that very thing. So, and about, you know, what you can do to. We got a lot of ground to cover, and it's going to help clear up some of these misconceptions.
One last thing, like 10 seconds.
There's the bell. You got 12 seconds.
You said that it said this in that video, and let me tell y'all something. You cannot grow out of this. You can grow. You can grow with it, but you cannot grow out of it. I'm just saying, this is not a disease. It's just who we are.
See, let me just tell y'all, I know about this Zig Ziglar legacy guy here. See, he'll turn this into a keynote in a second. I know, because I taught him. So I'm just saying. So anyway, thank you, Tucker. Love you. Love you. I'm just playing with you because I know you so well. Now let me turn the play tone off, because here we come to Christopher Cos. Christopher, I'm just playing with you too. Do you remember this? Do you remember the diagnosis?
It must have been around 5, because I don't remember anything before the age of 6, actually. So it's almost like the day I was diagnosed was the day I was born, basically. So, and the earliest memory I have is going into kindergarten, which was at a disability school, and then first grade, another school, second grade, another school, and then finally in the third grade, when finally stayed at one school through elementary and high school that never really dealt with someone on the autistic spectrum before. So as you can imagine, it was rough. But,
I'm sure.
But my mother was on top of it regardless, because she tried her best to understand me through reading Temple Grandin's books and being in constant communication with the special ed teacher when they had the special ed classes that I go to, just to help me out. And unfortunately, the rest of school wasn't exactly as supportive. They kind of did have the attitude of that I was just being a bad kid, basically, and ended up giving me punishments. And I recall even one time it got to the point where my parents even discussed with a lawyer about it. So
because of like harassment or bullying?
I can't remember what they did, because like I said, after high school, I just tried to block my memory of the whole thing. I just hated that school.
Ooh.
When I went out.
Yeah.
I was angry, because even with the senior portrait, if you looked at that, you would see me looking really pissed off, because first I didn't exactly like having my photo taken, which rather ironic considering photographer.
You're a photographer.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
well, okay. Thank you for that, Christopher. We're going to go now, and thank all of you for that. I want by a show of hands, okay? Just by a show of hands, if you could. Two-part question. How many? Actually, it's a 4-part question. Or is it 2 questions with 2 parts? So the first one is this: the day you found out, or say post-diagnosis, you speaking personally, would you say that you felt more relief or panic? Relief, raise your hand. You personally. 1, 2. And so I'm thinking, so then panic. The other 3 panic. Well, there's no other choice. You got to be one or the other.
I can't really decide.
At the time, do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Both hands.
Okay, so you were both. Okay, what about your families? Relief? How many? The family was like relief. Okay, at least now we know. Anybody? Or panic? Oh, dear Lord Jesus, not my baby.
That's double.
Okay, so in most cases here, it was harder for the immediate family than you would say it was for you.
Probably.
Yeah.
Wow. We're going to get into that in a little bit later in the discussion about what it takes, some of the tips you have for families that may be going through this now or moving towards a future diagnosis, but are seeing the signs because of awareness like we're hearing today, and hopefully that they can have access to every day. So we're going to get into that. Now, right now, I thought it would be a good time to we're headed up at the top of the hour. We're going to take a 2-minute break so that our panelists and you as well can run to the restroom or get something to drink, or even call some more people and let them know, share the broadcast out. So again, for those of you who have just joined or since the top of the hour, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris. I'm the host of Bathroom Moments, and my co-host today is
Weekly Dose of Dano. Dano in the building. You can see it right here.
Okay, there you go. Weekly Dose of Dano. And we have 5 of my favorite people on the planet here with us today, all somewhere on the autistic spectrum, sharing their stories and their journeys with all of us. And we want to hear yours as well. So please put all your comments now. We're going to save the last 20 minutes or so of the interview to get to those questions. So if you have a question specifically for one of the panelists, please make sure that within your question, you name that person. If it's just a general question for the entire panel, don't put a name in at all. Okay. So right now, I thought we'd play a little game. It's going to be kind of hard for me to do this without covering you guys up, but this is more for them out there. So I'm going to put this up on the screen. On the screen, what you see here is a collage, if you will, of people through history that have been dealing with autism. And I just wonder, I'm going to ask my panelists that can see this, can you pick out one of the famous people on here and tell us which one is who?
No, I don't recognize never one of them people. I ain't never seen them before.
Oh, there I am.
I'm not sure, but I think one of them looks kind of familiar.
One of them looks kind of familiar. Oh, good. Look, I moved me over to the side. Hi, Tom.
Oh, man, you moved me along.
I've got a guess, but it's completely a wild guess.
I am going to let's pretend this is like the Brady Bunch grid. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say top right corner and that sort of thing. So let's say this. If I were to say, who is at the bottom right corner? Anyone can tell me who that autistic famous person is.
That look like Tom.
Tom who?
That look like Tom Island.
No, not Tom Island.
Dang it.
You think that's me in the lower right corner?
No, I don't know. I'm just shooting in the dark. I don't recognize never one of y'all.
Anybody there?
Bill Gates
is actually Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, okay.
Saturday Night Live and all kinds of movies, right? Okay. Let's go to this little girl up here from many years ago. She's third to the right on the top row. Anybody?
Temple Grandin?
Nope. That is Emily Dickinson.
No way.
Yes.
I was sitting here thinking that looked like Emily Dickinson.
Yeah, I know. She looks different, not her usual 80-year-old self.
No, I mean that baby picture's famous.
Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. Okay, here we go to another one. Let's take this guy who is, let's go right to the left of Emily with the cowboy hat on there. Anybody tell me who that is?
Chuck Norris.
Nope.
Darn.
Chuck Norris is not autistic.
Oh, darn. I thought that was going to be a win for us.
That is Bill Gates.
Really?
Well, I had the right name, wrong picture.
That is Bill Gates. And then we're going to move, let's see. How about right here? Third row, kind of in between, in the middle to the far right with the blonde hair.
Where? Oh,
middle row, third one to the right.
Is he a comedian by any chance?
Nope.
Oh, never mind.
That is Andy Warhol.
I'll be dang.
Okay.
Very cool.
All right.
Is Nicole Tesla in here somewhere?
There's Andy Warhol, right? Now I'm going to go up to the upper right corner. Anybody tell me who that famous person is with autism?
Tom Brady.
Anybody? Somebody here knows who it is.
Tom Holland?
Dang it. Oh, I thought I was right for a second.
Nobody knows who that is.
That's you, ain't it, Lauren?
Steve Jobs.
Really? That's not a shot.
Steve Jobs.
Nice.
Wow.
Now, who is this to the far left, row one? Another famous person with autism. If anyone can identify it, anyone, tell us who it is.
Nicole, is it the guy that owns Teslas?
No. Somebody here knows who that is. Please say who it is.
It's me.
Who?
JR.
Okay, that's J.R. Reed. There's a famous person with autism. Right underneath JR is another. And who is that?
Underneath. You can't see underneath him.
Is that Jimmy?
In the middle, far left.
Oh.
That's not Jimmy, I declare, right?
Well, it says Tom on the hat, so I'm going with Tom.
No,
far
left,
left.
I don't.
middle row.
That's your far left.
Far left.
Column 1, middle row. It looks like camouflage shirt, but it isn't. Who is it? Say who you are.
That would be me.
I declare that is Jimmy Clare. 5 points
Ah.
for Dano. Right. Let's go right underneath. Clearly, I know this from a million miles away. Who is this in the bottom left, bottom row? I'll give you. Hello.
Chris.
Oh, is that it ain't Hannibal, is it?
Christopher Casson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say hello, Chloe.
Me and my Sunday best.
Yes, and we're just gonna take a little guess right here in the middle on the bottom row who that is right there. That's really holding the pitchfork underneath the picture, but you can't tell. Now, who is that? Like I didn't give it away.
Yeah.
Tucker.
Yeah.
Tucker Bearden.
What in the world makes y'all think it'd be me?
I love that hairdo. I used to love it on Little Nicholas on 8 is Enough, and I love it here.
He stole it from me.
Right above the beautiful Nicholas from 8 is Enough haircut, Tucker Bearden. Who is this as our little Indian chief?
That's Tom Island. There ain't no question about that.
Absolutely.
Tom's having dead giveaway, but yes, that's me.
So,
oh no, I wouldn't have done that. I didn't cheat. You know what I mean?
My purpose in that collage was this. When we look at these pictures of children, we just see 10 children. There's nothing there that says, I am a child with autism. And so there is the first thing that I think is the first thing for every person who is going to be an ally, who is going to even speak on this subject to anyone, is to remember the first thing is when we look at each other, when we stand beside each other, there are no differences. We are more similar than we are different. And I think that's the best place any relationship can begin. So there we go. I had a little fun with that. We are 2 minutes away from our 2-minute break. And at this time, I wanted to implore all of you, challenge all of you to get your questions ready. We have 30 minutes left. It's really moving quickly today. And we're going to go deep with all of our panelists and get to your questions as well when we return. So for the sake of time, I want you to think about this question and ask yourself if you still have a question that speaks to what is autism. If you do, now is the time to ask. You have five, count them, 5 experts right here who are doing wonderful things in the world because this is a gift / superpower and not a disability or a curse. So when we return, we're going to get into that, get your questions, and we have a couple questions or topics that our panelists, want to address specifically. We'll get to that and more when we return. Don't go away and take advantage of this time to phone a friend. We'll be right back. What is that? Somebody's listening to the show on their. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to figure out who the culprit is and start muting. You guys mute yourselves for a second.
Ooh, goodness gracious, it got cold.
Okay. All right. So Tom is not muted. Okay. Christopher Joe, JR. So anyway, we're in a different configuration. It's cutting off Jimmy Claire's movie star hair. And I am hearing myself echo. So I am going to take our. Where's JR? Wait a minute. Hello? Yep. That's who. Hello? Yep, that's who it was. So I'm gonna have to do that. I don't know what that is. So anyway, JR must be did you get your COVID vaccine yet? Shake your head, yes or no. JR, he probably got some 5G running around in him somewhere. That's what it is. I'm kidding. I was scared about that for about 20 seconds after I got him. I was like, oh, well, you know what? Anyway, listen, we're back, everybody. Welcome to our The Bathroom Moments 90-minute television special, bringing awareness to today, April 2nd, which is World Autism Awareness Day. And we have 5 expert panelists with us today. All of them have superpowers and they have gifts through the gift of autism, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to start this segment off, if we could, everybody. Dano, how's it going for you? Are you learning anything?
Yeah, I'm learning a bunch of stuff. I actually have a few questions written down, so when we get to that portion of the show, I'm really excited to learn inside of their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in as well. I'm going to start with a topic that Tom Island sent in that he wanted to spend a few minutes on. So let's take about 5 minutes and go around the panel if we could and speak to what Tom says, which is I'm interested in discussing the evolution of the autism conversation / narrative from one of awareness to more recently one of acceptance to what I'd like to see move into one which is action. So it is moving, but this is the next slab of the sidewalk, so to speak, if I'm picking up on this the right way. Tom, is that what you're wanting to talk about?
Yes, thank you for bringing up the topic. And you're right, the conversation or the narrative continues to evolve and change over time, particularly as people on the autism themselves are the ones speaking up and out, more specifically telling their stories, because no one tells your story better than you do. And people need to hear what you have to say. And like it was mentioned earlier in this session, some people think that autism is something that needs to go, or that people on the spectrum are not worthy of life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. But I say that people on the autism spectrum are very much worthy of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Autism is here to stay, so we best love people on the spectrum for who they are, accept that they have something to offer. And as I mentioned, like the idea of taking action, ask yourself, what are you doing to help somebody on the autism spectrum? What can you do to make their lives better and make sure that everybody wins? Because that's what's going to make the world a better place, when we take action in the form of appreciating them, celebrating their accomplishments, including them in conversations like this. That's what's going to make the world a better place.
Where's I got to throw this up on the screen. Hold on. I need either that or I need to reach for my church fan, and it's in another room. So, good one. I agree. Who'd like to take this for a minute or two and talk about that? Unmute yourself, because we were getting a little bit of pinging. So I went ahead and muted everyone. But please, if you want to chime in, unmute yourself and let us hear what you have to say.
Well, Tom, I totally agree with you that, it's great for people to be aware of autism, but until they accept it and actually make neurodiversity a part of their lives, it's not going to get any better for anybody.
Neurodiversity. Give us the Reader's Digest definition of that for those who may not be aware of it, if you could, JR.
The Reader's Digest version is people like yourself and Dano who were born with neurologically typical brains, or what we call neurotypical, and then the rest of us were born with neurologically divergent brains, or neurodivergent. And neurodiversity is really the coming together of the neurotypical and the neurodivergent community to work together as one.
So what I hear you saying basically is Dano and I are the normal ones. I'm
No.
kidding. It was a test.
You're the ones with brains that are differently wired than the rest of us.
I wanted to see if people were taking notes from the top. Somebody went, ooh, them's fighting words. They get ready to tear Lauren a new hole. So, okay, great. I love that. Anybody else?
So just so I stay on topic, what specifically is the question?
Tom, restate.
Okay. So as we look at the narrative of autism as a whole, from one of awareness to one of acceptance to one of action, what do you think needs to happen to take us to the next level in our lives?
Well, I think you were absolutely right. I mean, it's acceptance. It's just like everything that you see happening in the world today. We're talking about different skin colors. We're talking about different sexualities, talking about all these different things that people need to be more accepting of this, that, and other. Well, it's just like, we ain't no different. We the same part. We're a part of the soup. You know, just people are going to be different, and people, you have to accept that in this world. And here's the thing: if everybody was the same, it'd be boring.
You know? Amen, brother. Amen. Anybody else? Jimmy, you got something to say? Christopher, what do you think about this one?
Well, I think it's both not only acceptance now, but also action, because we could always talk about it till the cows come home, but they're going to listen more when they actually see it happening instead of just hearing about it. And it kind of makes me sad to see some people in the autistic community actually believe that it's more like a curse, that they would take a cure to it. But in my opinion, from everything I experienced in life, the only thing you would accomplish with that is you're just trading one set of problems for another. You're always going to go through adversity, no matter no matter what avenue you take in life, and that's just a part of it. And you just have to learn to accept it and just find enjoyment in it, to be able to learn more about yourself and what you're capable of. So, you know, I like using this Buddhist thing with the lotus flower example. We all start in that muck, but eventually we could choose to keep growing despite the environment, kind of beating ourselves over in order to reach to the surface and just bloom into our full potential. Or we could just, you know, kind of dissolve away. And even when you do bloom, there's always still going to be that adversity with the environment going against you. But, you know, again, part of life. And
part of life.
Just,
that's right. Thank you, Christopher. What about you, Jimmy? You were going to say something, I think.
Yeah. For me, I think for the next step is if people would stop labeling us as disabled. I feel like it puts a negative feeling to autism. I'm not saying someone is disabled. It's like you're saying that, oh, this person's in a wheelchair, or they have to use a walker for the rest of their life. I'm not disabled. And so I can perfectly walk. I know some people might not be able to perfectly walk, but we shouldn't call attention to it shouldn't be disabilities. And it's like we should call them extra challenges. And it's like, yeah, it's an obstacle, okay, but I live with it every single day.
But you're able to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Got it. Love it. So now we're going to transition into an area that I think a lot of you are going to have a lot to say about, and that includes you out there. Tucker, I'm going to let you kick this one off because it was your statement that you wanted to put this out there, but I want to give you something to go on. When I first met Tucker, he was working 14 hours a day. That was a minimum, 7 days a week with horses and one other person that he saw little of, the guy at the farm. And so Tucker was, and this is an interesting thing, because it's what intrigued me about him. I remember when we were on a Zoom call, one of the first ones in your room, how your room had all those books, basically from floor to ceiling. And when you explained how you had lived through those books, half, I believe, some were the ones you had read and some were the ones you were going to read, because you were basically trapped. Christopher, similar story when I met you. Christopher's dad had told me Christopher wasn't leaving the house or the room very often at all. The room more often than leaving the house. And then I look at him today, can't keep his ass still. You see what I'm saying? So, which is great. And then, and so your statement was, you wanted to cover autism in the workplace. And I know that that's really important to you because of what you do today and how you're in and out of homes and training people now. But before you, I remember you told me the reason I do this, Lauren, is because I had an experience, and I want you to tell that really quickly. Give them the little nutshell version about at the Piggly Wiggly or the store you were working at, and then how that workplace experience coincides or not, you know what I'm saying, with your work experience of today, and how that may tie into some of the progress that Tom, that stair stepping, that leapfrogging across the pond of awareness that Tom was mentioning. So take that, Tucker, start with that little story about that day that nearly cost you your life so people can get it. And then let's go in and we'll let everybody talk about the workplace. And Dano, I want you to come in on this one too, since you are an authority on this because you currently work with someone on the spectrum. So we can get it from a different lens. So Tucker, go ahead. I'm going to step out and let you take this.
All right. So, so let's just first off, the subject is autism in the workplace. And I feel very strongly about this. Personally, I've been fired from over 20 different jobs in my 28 years of living, specifically, and it is just for lack of communication skills. And it never seemed fair to me in the work environment that just because I may not be as quick to respond to somebody, or I may like start shaking or whatever, or the fact that I couldn't directly deal with people very well. I didn't feel like it was fair that I didn't get the same opportunity as somebody else that loads shelves and doesn't have to talk to people. So I got a job at a place called Piggly Wiggly. Okay, and a lot of y'all probably ain't never heard of it, but it's an old Southern grocery store. I was bagging groceries at that day. It was actually first day they had me bagging groceries, and all of a sudden people just started flooding in. I guess it was like lunchtime or something. I don't know, but I just panicked. There were so many people and so many noises, and I'm extremely hypersensitive to sound. I have sound canceling headphones next to me right now at all times, and I had a panic attack, and I was in the process of collapsing to the ground and basically convulsing. And this woman I was bagging groceries for started yelling at the people in my manager and stuff. They was like, "Why would you have a retard working for you? What's wrong with you people?" Wow. And that, like, I just remember that, man. Like, I was laying on the ground, like I can hear my heartbeat, and I'm freaking out. And this woman's standing over me, like, "Why would y'all have a retard working for you? Like, what's wrong with you people?" And I'll be honest with y'all, man. I gave up that day, because when I finally came to, I was in the back of the Piggly Wiggly, and my boss came to me, and she said, "Come to my office," like all angry. And I was like, okay. So I came to the office, and I'm still shaking, still sweating, and I'm rocking back and forth in the chair. And she looks across the desk from me, and she slips a piece of paper over that. It was a write-up slip. He said, "You're disruptive and incapable of working around others." She said, "You've done nothing." You said, "You're a waste of my time." And she gave me my last paycheck and sent me out the door. And when I got home that day, I wrote a letter to my family, and I told them that I was sorry for what I had to do, but I couldn't live with this anymore. I can't do it. And I hung myself from the second story window after tying a ski rope to the couch next to the wall, and it broke. A ski rope broke. I ended up real quick into that part of this. I ended up going down to a creek bed and looking at the eagles, because there's eagles that live near where I was, and I was watching them build the nest. And in that moment, I saw these eagles putting little bitty pieces together to create that nest, and something clicked with me. And it was that the most beautiful things in this world are made up of tiny broken pieces. You know, not the whole limb, not the whole tree, not the whole forest. The broken pieces that were brought together to do something great. And today, I feel like that's where we are. We're a compilation of broken pieces that were brought here by purpose and divine planning to be that light for people today. And now stepping into the workforce today, I became a salesman. I don't know, many of y'all have heard of Kirby. They're the shiny vacuum your grandma had that weighs 500 pounds. But
poodle up inside the bag if you ain't careful.
There's a video on YouTube of a Kirby in the 70s picking up a car. But anyway, it's real. But anyway, I was working with horses, like he said. I was working 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day, 365 days a year. I didn't get a day off for 2 or 3 years straight.
Right.
Come hell or high water. And like he said, I had them books. And they stacked up to the ceiling, because one day I was looking for free movies on YouTube, and if anyone's ever tried, you know they're not there. I was looking for free movies on YouTube because I was trying to find a way not to go crazy from work, and I came across something called TEDx, and I saw TED Talks, and I watched a TED Talk called "Start with Why" by Simon Sinek, and I had never heard of public speaking. I didn't know nothing about it. And I just I felt something light a firelight within me. And I was like, wow, that's what I'm supposed to do. Like that's it. And then while going through the internet looking for these different things, I came across the quote that put me here today. And it was by Zig Ziglar. It said, which ironically I became a Ziglar legacy. It said, you can have anything in this world you want if you're only willing to help enough other people get what they want. And in that moment, everything shifted for me. I had a paradigm shift, and suddenly there was this perception change where I kept asking myself, I was like, I want to speak on stage, I want to inspire people, but what do I deserve? Why do I deserve that? And being someone who was who suffered from severe social anxiety, it was very hard to make that leap. But now that story aside, now I get to hire people for Kirby. I could barely talk to people when I got here. I could barely have a conversation. Lauren helped me with a lot of this, believe it or not. He was the one that put me on my first stage. But I came into Kirby, and after being here for a while, I realized doing Kirby, going door to door and talking to people, and being in someone's house for 2 hours at a time talking to people, it was like a degree in communications. And now I'm put in a position where I'm the one that hires people. I'm the one that trains people. And I get to choose whether somebody with autism sitting across this table gets an opportunity or not. And guess what? I ain't turning them away.
There you go. So let's get it open here for the second time, because I want to give each of you, we're 19 minutes after, we're about 10 minutes away from the close. And I promised everybody here to have a chance to really put your piece on this, put your DNA, your soul DNA on this hour and a half. So we want to make sure that happens, okay? And as far as questions and things, we should have made this a 2-hour special. Next time, right? Next year, we come back next year. Agreed? Everybody raise your hand if you're going to do that. I am. I will. There we go. You all see, I see your hands. Get them up out there. I can see. Thank you. Listen, let's, anybody want to say how they feel about what can we do? How many of you, raise your hands, work for yourself? Pretty much. Are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. Okay. So what about those people on the spectrum? What can we say or do? Say if any of us are going to start the hiring process or know people who do, or just, so that people will know if you're working, like Dano. Dano, tell us real quick before we get back to the panel. Let's give us a 1-minute thing about, have you learned anything since you found out this coworker was on the spectrum? Did it change how you treated them? Did it change how you looked at them? You're muted, TV host. You're muted, television host. Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Making me work for my time.
That's okay, Junior. Wax on, wax off. Remember I taught you that. I'm kidding. Mr. Emoji. Okay.
No,
Mahaji, or whatever his name is. Gumahaluchi. So, talk about that, though, with your coworker.
Well,
be honest. Be honest.
Well, if I'm going to be honest, I think you misheard me. I said her daughter has autism.
Okay. So how did you find out? Were you guys just sitting on a break? Oh, by the way, I have an autistic daughter. How did it happen? And how did you respond? Oh, that's nice. Oh, really? Tell me more. What was it like?
Well, she actually had a fundraiser. They were selling Girl Scout cookies, and that's how everybody found out about it. But I can tell you, like
I know what I want to ask you. Let me before you go there, because I already know. Oh, so we'll call her Mary. Mary's little girl is selling Girl Scout cookies. Y'all want to buy some boxes? No, I already bought 6. But her daughter's got autism. Oh, in that case, I'll buy a couple.
Yeah.
No, I'm being real, because a lot of people, when they hear that, they think, oh, poor little helpless. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Where people think that, where they wouldn't be able to help or willing to, when they hear that attached to it, all of a sudden it's like, the blind girl, the boy with no legs, whatever. The things that make people go and hear the song In the Arms of the Angels makes you dig in your pocket. Sally Struthers, all of that. I want to know what did it do to you, Dano, when you heard she had a daughter that had autism? Did you feel sorry for her?
No, I mean I was gonna buy the cookies anyway, and that's just a little joke, obviously.
But did you know what autism was?
No, not at all.
So
And
what did you ask?
no, I actually didn't, and I've been learning so much because, like I said, I was gonna buy them anyway. But just with all the panelists that we have right here, it really has shown me that these people, like, they're very, very capable. So we shouldn't feel sorry or have any sympathy.
Nice try, Dano. I'm trying to get you back to that moment because I want to find out, because you can speak to it. You're an authority. Did you at any point say to yourself, the more you learned, because you know more about the little girl now and about what autism is for her through her mother, even if it is secondhand.
Yeah.
But did you ever say to yourself afterwards, well, why didn't I know this? That's all I could ask myself just today. And I've known Tucker for years, Tom and Christopher for years. And I still was finding things that I was like, I ought to be damn ashamed of myself. Sitting up here getting ready to go on a special. But then it said to me, but you know what? That's why we're gathering.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can say that no, like I really didn't have any interest in finding out more about, her daughter. But it all leads up to this because I did have so many questions what a typical life would be like.
So was the autism piece in one ear and out the other? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, there it is. Why is that, you guys? If somebody would have said she had just even say cancer. You don't even got to say what kind of cancer. Oh, Lord, gee, what kind? How much time she got? People want to know more. You say autism. Oh, anyway, look at the time. Girl, I got to go. What is that? Why do we don't want people to take it like a disability, but we do want them to go, oh, I want to know more. JR.
I think it's because, Dano, you didn't have any direct connection to the daughter, so you had no reason to ask or, find out more. But when people have a direct connection to somebody, had it been the coworker, not the coworker's daughter, Dano might have been more interested.
100%.
That's true. Makes sense.
If I may weigh in, I think once you bring a diagnosis or a disability into the conversation shifts to one of charity instead of change.
You nailed it.
That's right. Let me feel sorry for you.
And that's why so many people on the autism spectrum are unemployed or underemployed. Because when they get into an interview and they start falling apart at the seams, it's like they've been set up to fail. And the HR recruiter is looking for someone who will do the job. And it's the social communication difficulties that we experience that get us kicked out of the interview chair.
Right.
87% of autistic adults are under or unemployed.
But yet the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, has Asperger's. Just saying.
Bill Gates, Steve Jobs.
I want to say this at this point. I've just clicked on the ticker at the bottom of the screen for all of you out there watching, where if you are interested in speaking with a specialist in autism about autism, head over to 1-800-3-AUTISM. That's 800-328-8476 for more information. I went through this website today with a fine-tooth comb, and they have everything. They talk about the workplace. They talk about your neighborhood, schools, everything that you can think of from every direction. It is just a plethora of great information. So take the number down. I'll also be posting it on my page throughout the month of April to bring awareness to resources for autism awareness. So I want to get to each one. We're 26 minutes after. We want to stop. We don't want to go more than 5 minutes over. We want to keep you guys. I know it's Friday night and it's Easter weekend. Good Friday to all of you. So we're going to start with Jimmy Clare, and I'm going to put each of your connectors on the screen for those of you who would like to reach out, support, or just continue the dialogue with any of our panelists. You'll be able to do so. Jimmy Clare and all of the other panelists, I want to ask you for your Jerry Springer final thought. If we could mute the mouths of everyone in the world for just 1 minute for you to say what you want the world to hear or know about autism, what would that be and why? 1 minute. Jimmy Clare?
Autism is not the end of the world. We need to have the right people and the right tools and the right connections in place to live a successful and better life.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jimmy. And I just want to thank you for all you do. You being on your show, you being on mine. You guys, Jimmy has a wonderful podcast. Get over and check out crazyfitnessguy.com and make a friend, make an ally, make just the frequency in your world and Jimmy's go even higher, because the promise is where two or more come together. So head over and check him out. Thank you so much for all that you did today and that you do every day, Jimmy. We truly appreciate you. And I'm so happy you're here. We'll see you back here in a year. Going to go over to Tom Island now. Come to lifecoaching.com is the pathway for all things Tom Island. Get over and check out, get the book, find out about his coaching. And Tom, what's your final thought today?
Well, my final thought is that people on the autism spectrum are human beings just like you. And rather than fear us, rather than think less of us, I want to see how you can help us become better people, because we have so much potential, so much possibilities, and it might get lost in seeing the problems and the perils. So remember that life doesn't come to you. It's up to you to come to life. So
good play. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
People on the spectrum.
I don't have it.
He just
I'm
runs.
sorry. I
Yeah.
thought about it though.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, Tom. And the same thing applies to all of you panelists. I don't want to repeat it because I don't want to take any more time from you in your final thoughts. So thank you, Tom. God bless you. We'll get you back on Bathroom Moments real soon. Thank you so much. Christopher, you're up. And people can find Christopher here at ChristopherCaston.com, and also all of his other everything. He got about 400 different things he does, and they're all there.
Yeah,
Christopher, final thoughts.
Well, I'm gonna do like a quick story because you know Jason Cisneros, and around after the next Impactor, he saw the finality of America's Got Talent with Cody Lee, the blind autistic pianist, and he discovered something that really touched me, which was that when he was singing the song, "I'm singing a song for you," and he found that the best way he could communicate his love for his family is not through words, but through music, because that was the best way he could do it. And he clicked the link together and saw that it was my art that was expressing my love to everyone else. And it just felt like for the first time in my entire life, I actually felt fully understood. And that's what I just wanted. That's what we all want. We want to be understood. We don't want to be cured. And if you want to really cure something, I don't suffer from autism. I suffer from the ignorance that's around autism.
Woo!
So if you want to cure something, how about you look at yourself and cure your ignorance about our condition?
Okay, Reverend Casson. I'll put an extra 20 in the offering plate Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christopher.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, hallelujah. Thank you, Christopher. Couldn't have said it better myself, but I will from now on because of what you've just given me. So God bless you for that. Moving over next to the purple chin. Not weird, just autistic is the road.com. Not weird, just autistic.com for all things JRE. JR, final thoughts, please.
Well, first, you're going to make me follow that?
Yep.
Wow. Well, the one thing I want to leave people with is that all of us here and everybody around the world who is on the spectrum, we are not poorly formed neurotypicals. We are perfectly created autistic people.
Great. Perfectly. Okay, JR, you get that internal speaker's clock. Put that in. And finally, over to Tucker. Tucker, 1 minute, your final thought. You can reach Tucker at theplatethatbroketheworld.com. That is the title of his new book just released, but also everything else you need, you can find there as well. Final thoughts?
So yeah, everybody, a lot of people have seen the picture where they've got the squirrel, the elephant, the monkey, the fish, and everything standing in front of a tree, and they're all telling every one of them to, hey, climb that tree. Well, I'd like those of y'all to please take this from this today is that not everybody learns the same. Not everybody accomplishes things the same, and that understanding is really what we need today. And maybe take action out there in the world to help to somebody. Because look, this might not have anything to do with you, but it has to do with somebody. And if you be the blessing for others, you live within blessings. So if you won't do it for any other reason, do it for that. We're not the same, and that's okay. Who knows? If people with autism might very well be the next human form in our evolution of progress. Like that could Mother Nature's way of stepping up the game.
Stranger things have happened. Let's put it that way. Can we say COVID? So, okay. So thank you. And again, The Plate That Broke the World is not only the book, but it is the website for all things Tucker Bearden. Head over today and do yourself a favor. Connect with not just Tucker, but all 5 of our autistic panelists here today. Not because they're autistic, but because they have great content and great resources and great everything to offer the world, just like the rest of us. And in conclusion, I want to say this is another great resource. If you want to learn more, go to autismspeaks.org.
Did you not see what I posted this morning?
Hold on. I'm cannon fire.
I've been banned, blocked on Twitter by Autism
Let
Speaks.
me explain this. Okay, you guys, see, there you go.
That's a milestone.
Stay away from that.
We're running out of time. You guys, hold on. The thing about normal and this right here is to let you know, just because it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, doesn't mean it's a duck. This is a URL. It is an IP address. Before you go here, speak to someone that is within reach, arm's reach, heart's reach, soul reach. They are there. I remember when I first came out as an LGBT man, everybody would say, well, I'd say, well, do you know any gay guys or lesbian women? No, none. Most of them were sitting next to having lunch every day with just so many, and they just didn't know it. Not because they were hiding it, but because they didn't want to know. They didn't ask. Don't live based on assumptions. Follow the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't you dare make assumptions. And always, like all of our panelists, do your best. Having the conversation is a great place to start to do your best. And we've started. I want to thank all of you again. And now we know autismspeaks.org is not the place. I knew it. Somebody told me, put that up on the screen and watch what happens. And it happened. So I'm leaving it up to all of you panelists to put into the comments your favorite places to send people to find the truth, to find what they need to know about how you live, why you live it, where you live it, and who you live it through. So get over and put that in so people have something solid to hold on to, not that one, okay? And in conclusion, I just want to leave you all with this. Happy Autism World Autism Awareness Day, week, and month. Don't let it end here. Keep the flame going. Pretend like this is your Christmas Eve service at your church where you light one candle on another from another and keep the flame going. Again, the number at the bottom of the screen, please check it out. And I have one last thing that I wanted, Christopher.
Well, just want to add one quick thing. For us autistics, every day is Autism Awareness Day. So don't just focus on it when it's just one day of the year or 1 month a year. Think of it every day.
Every day. Yeah. I agree. So the next time you have this question or you hear someone ask that question, we're hoping that because of the short time that we've been able to be blessed with and for and through each other today, that all of us will at least have a resource that is a good, solid truth, has the ring of truth with it, around it, and through it. Make sure that anything that you represent and you are placing that seed inside someone else's mind, that you have already done your due diligence, your homework. Look into it from top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner. And I want to leave this personally from myself and from all of us here at E360 Television, the message we feel we'd like you to take. And that is, in April, when we are recognizing Autism Awareness Month, it is essential to recognize the value that people with ASD bring, what they bring to our world. To be different is not often tolerated. However, we should show compassion and kindness to people who work at the edges of our society, for they enhance our understanding of the world in so many, many ways. And my final thought from me to you is this. What I've learned here today and what I take with me is proof that no matter what, there is that season in most of our lives when we will ask ourselves, and that which is greater than us, what did I do to deserve this? But because of moments like this and sharing our stories, we now can look at ourselves through a third eye of authenticity and say, now, what do I do to preserve this? Because it was yours and it was a blessing from the beginning all the way through to the end. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. I want to thank all of you for joining us. Sorry we kept you a little later, but hey, it was worth it. Thank you. Please share this broadcast out. Let people know what you learned here today. We'll see you back here next year for another special with all these guests and maybe some more when we celebrate World Autism Awareness Day yet again. Thank you, Dano, for being here. Thanks to all of you. Get out and be the blessing you want to see in the world. Be the gift you'd like to receive from the world. Have a great week. Happy Easter. And thank you to all of the panelists. God bless you all. We'll see you guys soon.
All right.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind.